Walt Disney World is filled with some of the best rides, shows, and attractions anywhere you're going to find at any theme park. But there are a few that aren't up to the same standards as the rest. Here are 6 rides and attractions that, if I had the choice, I would replace at Disney World. Now, if you know me, you know that I love just about any ride and show and attraction out there. It's hard for me to find one that I don't like or enjoy in some way. So, as I give you this list of 6 rides and attractions that I would replace at Disney World, please keep in mind that I have seen all of them, I have experienced all of them, all but one, multiple times, and so I do still find some enjoyment in them. However, if I had to make a list of rides and shows and attractions that I continually skip because I don't enjoy them as much, or could care less if they disappeared, or even a couple that I wish would completely change, well, this is kind of the ones that would be on that list. These are 6 rides and shows, attractions, that I really do wish that Disney would replace and put in something better. And I may even hit something that you really like. In fact, I have a feeling that my last one, there's probably going to be a lot of people that disagree with me on it. But hey, it's my opinion, you have yours, and if you agree or disagree with me, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. So please, don't forget to comment on that as you watch the video. So the very first ride that I would replace is actually one over at Magic Kingdom. And it's been there probably since the beginning, and there's a lot of people that love this, especially younger kids. And once mine finally outgrew it, I was happy to stop riding it. And that is the Indy Speedway, or the cars that you get to drive. They're fun for little kids who don't get to drive otherwise, and they get to hop into this car, but I've never particularly cared for the ones at Disney. I do like him at some of the other parks, Six Flags. I like it when they have the old-time antique cars and stuff, but at Disney, they just really need some help. They smell bad. It's amazing. We got to go a few months ago when they weren't running, and all of Tomorrowland smelled so much better because you didn't have all the gas fumes coming from the ride. They don't particularly look good. They drive horribly. Trying to drive a straight line on those things for an adult is terrible, let alone for a poor little kid. It takes up this huge amount of space that could occupy several other attractions, probably. I'm happy to see Tron's coming in and kind of taking up a little bit of the space, but there's still so much more they could do with it, and it ends up this big, wide open area that doesn't do much. Now, again, I know if you are a kid, you probably love driving this, and you probably have great memories of riding on it as a kid, but it's not even very Disney-ish. There's nothing unique about Disney's version. There's nothing that stands out about it. The lines move very slow. It takes a huge amount of manpower, and I can't imagine how many times those poor cast members get hit by other cars or run over because kids aren't paying attention. And it's just one of those rides that, if it disappeared and they put something else more interesting in, I don't think there'd be that many people who'd really complain. Miss it a little bit maybe, but probably not complain too much. It can go. That would probably be the one I would knock out the first. Number 2 is actually something that's new, kind of replaced an old version, and that is the Up Bird Show over at Animal Kingdom. Now, I liked the old version. I love animals. I love seeing shows where they get to show off the animals, talk about them, and explain them, and so I really enjoyed the old bird show. I even had a couple times I got to sit up on stage and take pictures of the birds flying at you. That was a really cool moment. However, the new one, it seems like it's mostly about Russell and Doug being, dimwits. Oh, look, I lost my camera. Oh, look, it's a bird. I like birds. Guys, you took a decent show and you killed it. It's boring now. You don't see very much of the actual animals. It's 50% Doug and Russell running around on stage, not having a clue what they're doing, and trying to make this whole storyline fit. It's bad. It's just really bad. I was very disappointed when I saw it on my last trip, and I was like, you know what? If I never see this again, that's okay. And I typically try to make a point to see the bird show in the past, because I enjoyed it so much. It's sad. They just took something that was nice, that fit in very well to Animal Kingdom. They gave an opportunity to show off the animals and get up close and let people see them, and they just killed it. Disney, you really don't have to stick characters into every single thing. Some things can stand on their own quite well, and that was one that used to. Number 3 on my list is another one over at Animal Kingdom that has gotten complaints almost since the park opened, and that is the whole Primeval Whirl DinoLand area. It looks cheap and tacky, and okay, I know it's supposed to look like it, but it's cheap and tacky. Here's how bad this is for me. When Disney California Adventure opened up and they had their beach boardwalk area, it felt like a beach boardwalk, and it kind of worked in the theme. It was a little bit on the tacky side, but I could deal with that. The first time I saw it at Animal Kingdom, I was like, oh, this just looks horrid. Ick! This doesn't even remind me of a tourist trap. It's just ugly. I've stopped at a couple of these tourist trap type things. Hey, if you ever go to south of the border over in the Carolinas, you'll know what I mean. This didn't even evoke any of the fun nostalgia bit of it. It's just ugly. You have these terrible rip-off games in it. It's the only place at Disney World that has the rip-off carnival games. Yuck. I like spinning coasters, but the theme just didn't work. The whole area, it just needs to be scrapped. They've tried to fix it with the opening of Pandora, and they've moved a whole bunch of character meet and greets into the area to try to help it. I'm sorry, it's sad when you've got to really try to pump up the character meet and greets to fix an area, because it's just not working. We like Dinosaur. You could actually take that end of DinoLand, and if they had used that same kind of idea and themed everything to dinosaurs in that, it could have worked. But they didn't. They took semi-legitimate looking Dinosaur Institute, and then they went tacky roadside stop, and the tacky don't work. It's too tacky. It looks bad. Just scrap the whole area and redo it, please. Number 4, The Little Mermaid show over at Hollywood Studios. This is a show that we used to watch occasionally when we were visiting, when I was working at the park. The kids enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a nice break from the heat. And it was a nice little show. Well, again, we checked it out this last trip after several years, and let's just say it has not aged well. The show itself is still a cute show. The actors do a good job. I love the puppets, but the lighting has not held up. In this day of digital lighting, it just doesn't look good anymore. The soundtrack is fuzzy and not clear like it should be. Soundtrack definitely needs an update. You can tell it's an old analog one. And then the lighting effects in it. Let's just say if you can imagine an 80s laser show, that kind of gives you the feeling. It's like, guys, this went out 20 years ago. It really shows its age right now. The puppet performers do a great job, but you can tell even a couple of the puppets are starting to fade and not look as good. It's a show that still can work, but it definitely needs a refreshing, an update, new lights, new soundtrack, and just a nice update to it. Again, keep the basic idea, but freshen it up a little bit, and it would make a world of difference. As it is right now, it's definitely one of those deals that, okay, I need a break from the sun and the heat, and everything else is long lines. Let's go see Little Mermaid. That's about it. Number 5, Rivers of Light. Yes, I'm back at Animal Kingdom again. Okay, guys, what's going on here? Rivers of Light has to be the absolute worst nighttime show I have ever seen in my life. I saw this on my first trip back to Disney World after 8 years, and was just totally and completely unimpressed and bored. When I've taken my family the last couple times, I was like, I showed them a video of the show, and they went, let's go look at Pandora at night and the Tree of Life instead. It's much more interesting. You can only watch lighted flowers and light animal boats float around for no reason so much. Oh, and then there's the water screen that occasionally shows some animals running around. There's no story. There's no point. There's nothing going on except, ooh, look at the boat float. Yeah, this may be the one thing at Disney World that, if I could say I really don't like something, almost to the verge of hate, this might be it. There's no point. There's no storyline. The only time you have any people in it at all are the drummers on the boats who are floating around, again, for no reason. You think that they're two tribes, maybe, and they kind of go past each other, and they go past each other. Oh, wait, no, that's right. Disney fired them because they didn't want to pay the labor costs. That's not even there anymore. What little bit of story there was is gone. The updates I'm hearing is that they are supposed to be putting in a new version of the show. It can't be anything but an improvement because this current version is just so bad. But I hope that they actually bring in a storyline, some narration. Give me a point to watch it rather than looking on this water screen and go, look, it's lions and tigers running and antelope and why? I don't know. We're at Animal Kingdom, so it must be animals. Not Disney show quality at all. If this new version isn't a major improvement and gives you a point and a story and something interesting to watch besides tulips on the water, ditch the whole thing and wait until you come up with something that's worth watching, because this isn't it. My last one, number 6, and probably my most controversial one, Soarin'. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Soarin'. Before you start to throw things at me, I loved the original version. Soarin' over California was probably my favorite ride alongside Tower of Terror. Just a fantastic ride. We've loved it since my kids were little. They actually got to ride it opening season at Disney California Adventure. So the very first time this thing opened, we were on it, and we have waited in long lines. I mean, for us, anything over 30 minutes as long as we've waited over an hour to watch Soarin'. We love this show. It's one that when we go to Epcot, we would always rope drop and make a beeline to Soarin'. Not anymore. When they changed it to Soarin' Around the World from Soarin' over California, they ruined it. They took a ride where they had actually done real video, real cameras, real people in it, and they replaced it all with CGI. I mean, it feels like the whole movie is CGI now. Every animal that's in it, every backdrop, every moving thing, any scene transition, it's all CGI now. And it's not even good CGI. When you see a baby polar bear rear up and go, "Hurr!" I'm sorry, he looks stupid. When you see elephants just randomly going, "Hi, here I am. Oh, let's throw some dirt at you." And they're not even good-looking elephants. It kills the whole reality bit. Not just that, but then unless you're sitting in the very center of the rows, like this little group of seats in the middle, it looks terrible. If you're on the outside edges at all, the third on this side and the third on that side, top, bottom, it looks bad. When you come up to the Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower looks like a big C because it's curving around the screen because you had to CGI it in instead of filming it for real, it's ugly. And there's several things that do that. The Eiffel Tower is the most obvious one, but if you're sitting on the side, you're constantly seeing this warped and curved picture because it's not a real picture. It's all CGI. Even the soundtrack. They left the old soundtrack at the beginning and the end because they knew people loved it. And then what they put in the middle is completely unmemorable. Can you tell me what it sounded like? I actually had to go look it up in a video to find it and even say, okay, was it different? Because I don't remember it. It's just like nothing. The old theme just, you felt like you were flying. It was just a very uplifting and very memorable theme. You hear it and you know it. The new parts, you wouldn't have any clue where it came from. They took easily what was one of our favorite rides, a must-do, and turned it into a, who cares, we'll skip it. Once my family rode the news version, they're like, yep, okay, we're done. Don't need to see that again. That never would have happened with Soarin' over California. Like I said, we went from a ride that we loved passionately to, okay, go do it once, and then once you've done it, you don't have to do it anymore. Now you've seen it. Which is really sad for a ride that really was the hallmark of Disney park rides for a long time. I'm sorry, Disney. Until you want to do it right, go back to the old version. It was so much better, so much more fun, so much more interesting. Even the smells worked better. Who can forget the smell of oranges flying over the groves? Or the smell of the pine trees as you're going down the river? It just worked, and now it doesn't. So that's 6 rides and attractions I would replace at Disney. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have others you'd put on the list? I'd love to hear it. Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share the video as well. If you haven't subscribed already, well, hit the button already. And don't forget to hit the bell so that way you know when I have new videos. Check the description below too. There's all sorts of information in there about my Reddit, my fan pages, merchandise. Merchandise. Hey, SirWillow pins are here. Yes, you can order your very own SirWillow pin. Want to know how? Check the description below. Thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me, and thank you so much for watching. God bless. While there aren't any rides that okay. So the very first ride that I would replace at Walt Disney World... Okay, that didn't come out quite right. The very first... Number 3 on my list is one also at Animal Kingdom that has gotten a lot of complaints over the world. Over the world? All around the world. Okay. Number 3... Crack myself up. That's sad. Okay. And that is the whole primeval... Number 4, the Little Mermaid show at Animal Studios. I mean, I could still smell the forest while you're riding up the... And then for my patrons,